This is the place. They say people come from far, far, far away to find their dreams, chasing down these meteors and comets called dreams in the sky of life. There's certain hot spots.
And coming at you guys with another video here today. This is going to be the WandaVision Season 1 Episode 9 review. And with this episode concluding, WandaVision is over. And after this episode, WandaVision is not getting a Season 2. And thank the holy fucking gods if they actually exist. This specific set of characters for the MCU does not need a Season 2.
It's gonna connect right into Doctor Strange too. It's just a little spin-off tie-in, but it's all connected.
Yeah.
Look at it like that. Look at it like a spin-off that connects into, something bigger.
Okay, so everyone knows that K-Dot is the resident MCU hater.
Big idiot, right?
It's facts! It's facts! It's not facts. These facts are not facts.
Oh, shit.
To an extent.
Hey, you're the man preaching after you watched Far From Home that you wanted something different, and you got something different in this show.
I didn't ask for sitcoms. That's not when I said different. I mean serious tone. Far more serious tone, less jokes, that type of shit.
Okay, in a few
Change
episodes
the tone,
we got that.
the setting.
Let's be
that
honest.
Type of shit.
In a few of the episodes during this season, we got that.
Really, let's be real. Only episode 8 and 9. Only episode 8 and 9.
Episode 5 was
in the ends
serious.
of the episode.
Yeah.
In the end, at the ends of every episode, something serious happened. But prior to that, nothing but jokes and goofy shit. Let's be real.
Okay, so
just sitcoms and all that stuff.
Okay, so what do you want to go over first? You want to go over dislikes, then likes, and then future of the MCU?
Let's just get the positives out the way.
Okay, the positives would probably be a lot more easier. Okay, so because I don't have negatives.
You do one, I'll do one.
It's just okay. So guys, I'm gonna be extra positive in this review for a certain reason, because I don't think what I hate is in this episode. The problem that I have with the show overall was all the fans that was trying to make this show out to be something that it was never gonna able to achieve.
Yeah, this thing, hella people gas it up, and now people are saying, "Oh, but it was never that big of a thing." Then why was you gassing it up? Everyone over there making these theories, Mephisto, Nightmare, all this shit. Why are you gassing it up? And you're gonna tell me it's not wasn't supposed to be that big. I mean, yeah. What the heck? You don't gas it up, and then you, who is gassing it up, gonna making all these theories and stuff, can tell me, because I had the smallest expectation. I didn't expect no freaking Mephisto, no Nightmare, none of that shit. My only expectation I had was, how will this show be the reason for the multiverse opening up and falling apart or whatever. That was my only expectation, and the show didn't answer none of that shit. It didn't give a hint. It didn't show how. Wanda didn't break the multiverse. It just ended with Wanda reading a book.
Why?
The heck?
Okay, so
let me say a positive. I'll say a positive. The White Vision and Vision fight was the White Vision and Vision fight was great, and it looked great. That's one positive I have from this episode for sure. The Vision fight was great. Wish there was more punching, but it was great. I liked it, and it visually looks tight as fuck.
Here's what I'll say.
Where was all that fighting? Where's that fighting skill in Infinity War from Vision?
Okay, I told you guys, every single fucking video we do about DC or Marvel, he always throws in shade at the end of a point he makes. But you know what? It was pretty good. But Vision could have did a 2-piece combo better in the scene to knock this guy out. Hey, I'm just saying though. I called it like I sees it. Okay, so for me, I liked the episode right when it started for a certain reason. Remember they gave you the Wizard of Oz reference where she threw a car on the witch and the shoes were at the end of the car, and they were giving you the Wicked Witch of the East type of, reference to Wizard of Oz, because the witch in that movie obviously died by a house, and then later on her shoes were just there and all you see is the shoes, and you guys get the point of it. Westview, Wicked Witch of the West, you guys get the point, right? But Never. Okay, that's just more because I was paying attention to detail in the episode. So, what I liked about the episode, I liked when Wanda was fighting Agatha. And I really liked that Doctor Strange brought that type of fighting to the MCU because it's not just all like big, powerful dudes just going at it. Some of that mystical art kind of fighting, it's really cool to see. We saw her just throwing them, just basically just going at it consistently. You saw the part where she tricked Agatha to go back into her past, and then it didn't work because Agatha's magic overrode that. I really like little things like that because it was a pretty even fight to a certain extent. Now, as you guys already know, this episode, basically toward the end of this episode, Wanda, I guess, was getting more powerful because she turns into the Scarlet Witch. Now, another positive I have, the outfit looks really good. I really like the outfit they picked up for Scarlet Witch. Looks really well done. I would have preferred the one with the other episode we got with the Halloween themed episode, but this one's fine. It looks really, really good, you know. But that's what I'll say for right now, because you also had a Hayward trying to kill a black girl and 2 white kids.
And kids was fake. Oh, conveniently, Monica was bulletproof too.
Oh yeah, hey.
Conveniently.
Got
Coincidence? I think not.
I love this great writing this show has had over these 9 episodes we've watched.
Why would Hayward assume Wanda could revive things?
This is the problem.
Why didn't they get answered in this episode?
This is the problem with that character, is that he alludes to her bringing people back to life. That doesn't get explained at all in this episode. So am I to assume that that dude's just a... I would have to assume that that's just a Skrull who just knows stuff.
No, I think he's just a regular guy. I think Hayward is legit just a regular dude. At first, I thought maybe he's some more powerful being. That fake being Hayward to, I don't know, trick Wanda or something. I don't know. But he looks like some regular dude. The regular director.
So, my issue with this episode was that it was never going to be on the level that most fans thought of it. See, I'm different from a lot of other fans. My problem wasn't really with the actual episode. I think the show pretty much set out to give you exactly what it was supposed to give you. A setup for Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. Now, I know some people might go, what do you mean by that? It gave you everything you wanted. Let me explain. So, when most of the fans had theories for a lot of what they wanted this show to be, you wanted this show to be something that it clearly wasn't going to be. So some people are probably like, wait, didn't you have theories too? Yes, I had theories within the show itself. That's different.
Yeah, I wasn't running to no comics.
Yeah, because
we didn't run a comics, House of M and stuff.
Yeah, because people are like, well, didn't MSK and K, I make theories too. You guys are the same as us. No. That's completely different. I make theories in the context within this show's logic. So my ending theory for this episode, previously before it came out to us, was that she was going to expand the Hex and have the world under her control. That would make sense because she did it previously in an episode. Nothing to do with the
comics, everything to do with the show.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, our biggest thing was we thought Wanda was going to be a person to jumpstart a break in a multiverse, like a little rift, a break, like in Spider-Verse and shit, with, all the villains coming through portals and stuff. I thought it was going to be something like that, something to that degree, and it was none of that. It was like, and I guess Multiverse of Madness is when the multiverse breaks, but in Spider-Man 3, there's going to be multiverse travel before Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness.
It might be on the lower scale because you factored this in at the end of Tom Holland's third Spider-Man movie. What I'm thinking here is they're going to have a scene with Wanda again to tie that in because because before you get Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, you get Tom Holland's third Spider-Man film. So at the end, I'm just going to make a base prediction. They're going to have an end credit scene with Wanda maybe about to enter Doctor Strange's compound, or she sees where he's at. It's a base prediction, right? But that's in the context of what they are showing us, people. That's not making some stupid fucking theory where you're going, oh, well, read House of M. Guys, unless you're actually illiterate and retarded, I have read that story probably like 3 times by now. I read it once way back when I was a little bit younger, and I read it once you guys said to read it again in the live streams that we have for WandaVision watch parties, and I read it again recently, just a few days ago, and you know how much stuff is missing from this show that doesn't even compare to that comic book? One of the biggest things is that they do not use sword in the actual story. If anybody actually reads it, sword is nowhere to be found, and the person that goes around and makes sure his people no, they're in an alternate reality, is Wolverine. Now, with the show, they probably put that on Vision. Okay, they make their own story. But the problem here is people. House of M is like, would you consider something like Infinity War, Endgame, big events that actually mean something. And to get to that point in House of M that they are at, in that level of Marvel continuity, the characters, they have this idea, basically, you gotta kill Wanda because Hex being OP as shit, basically. She's just that bitch in the comics. I know girls on Twitter were going, oh my god, Wanda's that bitch. No, she's that bitch in the comic books. She's that powerful. They were contemplating killing her. Magneto didn't want to do it. She makes her own reality. You guys know the story. I'm not gonna repeat it 50,000 times, right? Now, take what I just said. Take what I just said right there. How in the world are you gonna take an Infinity War level event like that and encompass all of that in 9 episodes? And you explain to me how the show is going to do it. And for people that say they could have did it, have less episodes. No, you are actually just retarded. You are actually not smart. You are just a fucking idiot. No way you're going to take an Infinity War level event and put it in a 9-episode show. It was never going to happen. Now, I'm talking about theories specifically within the show, like her expanding the Hex, which clearly happened in one of the episodes. I'm talking about maybe they introduced Reed Richards, because that was a common theory because of the engineer. That's in the logic of the show in and of itself, people. That's not like Nightmare's gonna show up. Why? Because he is. Mephisto's gonna show up. Why? Because he is.
I didn't know who Nightmare was before the show even came out.
I honestly didn't know who the fuck that was until people started saying his name. Yeah. I'm being completely honest here with you guys.
Well, I mean, we're kind of all over the place, but we might as well just do it. Did you notice that White Vision was about to kill Wanda?
That shit was awesome, dude.
No, but it was when you tried crushing her head.
Oh, it was awesome, dude.
A Vision without a Mind Stone was about to kill Wanda, a Hex being, unless Vision, the fake Vision, came and saved her.
I think that's more along the, but to be fair, I think that's more along the lines of if you're caught off guard, you're still caught off guard. It's just one of those things, you know. That's all I chalked it up to.
No. All right. Well, it would have made sense if she was trying to ask him like Vision. She didn't like even press Vision enough. She just.
But yeah, she's like, wait a minute, aren't you a different color right now? Good God. Okay. Shit.
Yeah, like, because I was like. You know that's not your Vision. Why would your Vision be white? Because you, for a second, thought it was her Vision that she created. And at the end of the episode, like, bro, she doesn't even try to go look for that White Vision. And White Vision gets all his memories back. And he just leaves Wanda. Like, what the heck, bro?
Like,
he legit ditched Wanda. And everyone else. I mean, he could have just stayed there to try and talk to Wanda and get some answers about his existence. And wait a minute. Vision's alive. Wanda don't.
Oh shit! My brain's gonna actually melt.
You don't need to make another Hex Vision. Just go talk to White Vision and help him find his memories,
or she just gives them back. She just does a spell. She puts him back into his brain. Now he's a good guy. Now you have 2 Visions on your side. But hey, that would make logical sense.
You know the thing is, not a little cabin she was at in the post-credit scene?
Yeah.
She can just cry again and make a little mini Hex, and her and her family can live in a cabin.
This is the problem with that. I don't see her doing that again. What I see her doing is finding a way to take them out of that Hex world she has and making them actual characters that will be later on used in other movies. Wanda and Agatha's fight, I thought was actually a pretty well choreographed. I'll be honest here. The emotion and the acting is still very spot on. This show did a really good job with all of its actors, its emotional aspects. When it got dark, it really got dark. The witch scene they did again was pretty cool. I liked the way that Agatha and Wanda were fighting. Vision versus Vision was a cool fight for what it was. But in terms,
that witch scene was pretty good.
Yeah, I like that, the way like the witches were fighting each other. They're like, all right, let's just throw some blast.
It was the chanting and shit that made it like it was a chanting. It was a chanting that made it dark. That weird shit they was chanting. You're the Scarlet Witch, remember?
Yeah.
It actually made it dark, like weird, spooky, and ominous. Sound like a horror movie almost. Like, what the fuck? These bitches chanting some weird satanic shit.
There was a real.
It was that type of creepy.
There was a real emotional moment where, as the Hex is closing and she's gonna lose them again, the part where she says, "I'm glad you chose me to be your mom." Fucking hell, man. God damn it. I was like, I'm not gonna cry at this. I know that's supposed to make you cry. I stood my ground, and I was a man.
I didn't feel bad. This is the reason I didn't feel bad about it. Like, if those like real, there's this thing I like. This is another thing I like. They established that the kids cannot come out the portal either. Because remember when Wanda tried to close the hex and stop it to let out the civilians? Once they started breaking free from, Agatha made them break free from Wanda's control. And they started pressing Wanda, like, Wanda, we want to go. Please free us. I want to see my son and stuff. And then what ended up happening was the kids was going to die if she turned off the hex. So I like that stayed consistent. Because what would have been inconsistent was that if the kids can go out but not Vision, but they made that consistent. None of them can go out. So I like that. But I didn't care because they're not real. You know, like when they said, thanks for being our mom, like, I don't care. You're not real kids. You're fake. I mean, you're real inside the hex. But as far as the real world, our world, you're in the MCU, you're nothing. You're fake. Wanda can just make thousands of you. And she can make thousands of you with the same memories and same things, and she has like tons of clones on repeat to satisfy her fantasies.
You like Ralph Boner? What an out of place joke! What an actual out of place joke!
Can we talk about that?
Okay, so I know people, dude. I know people.
He wasted Evan Peters.
I know people wanted like multiverse X-Men level shit in this show. You know what's interesting?
No. I didn't even. I mean,
you could have got it in that scene. Imagine in that scene, dude. Imagine this. Imagine in that scene. She's like, "How are you this fast? Like, where are you from?" He says, "I'm not from this universe." Dude, it's literally that simple. He has a super speed. Just go with that. No, he's Ralph Boner. His speed's all tied to his necklace.
Ralph Boner. I was like, what the heck? Wait a minute. MSK. How did Monica's beat up a speedster?
You know what, dude? Black power.
Bruh, she freaking
sumoed him onto the ground.
He like
she Goku'd.
He should have been able to anticipate her punch and see it, because when speedsters move, they see like things move slow for them, but they move so fast, like Flash and stuff. Like, I'm like, what the heck, bro? I remember in Age of Ultron when Thor threw his hammer, and when Quicksilver was running, it looked slow.
He
was moving so fast. I was like, they female power.
But I was thinking to myself, hey, dude, it's just that, hey, it's like,
can I say, I felt Monica was also sidelined in these last 2 episodes.
Monica was actually pretty. To be fair, I would say they're going that whole.
I mean, she was sidelined to the point where, like, she showed up conveniently for the plot. For example, to save Billy from getting Tom from getting shot. Like, she conveniently showed up. Like in episode 8, she was over there chilling with Quicksilver in that attic. I was like, this attic is stopping you from going to go get Wanda? The heck? Like, it was in the attic. I thought she was in like a prison cell or something, like in Agatha's dungeon or her little base of operation. Nah, she was just chilling in the attic. I'm like, what the heck you doing here? You playing games with him and shit?
Like,
she's just chilling up in the attic with him.
Agatha, I like Agatha, which, to be fair, you got to look at the whole season in context. Was Agatha a pretty good villain? It's like
she had a corny introduction. It's like, why do you want the power? And she never explained why she wanted Wanda's power. Like, all right, you want power, but for what? What are you gonna do with this power? Because if she was gonna do it for some generic thing, I just want more power. Then, like, okay, I mean, you're just a generic villain. Like, Agatha was. If they explain why she wanted Wanda's powers, and they have some, there was something more to it, like she wants these powers to do this thing and not just get power to get power, because let's be real, that's the only thing you can take away from Agatha's motivations. She just wanted more power, and I'm keeping a buck with you, that's a basic motivation for a lot of villains, like, your Saturday morning cartoon villains, or I want more power, and that's it. I just want more power. But what you want the power for? What would his power gain you? What do you want to do with this power as a witch? Are you trying to become the best witch? Are you trying to overthrow the Sorcerer Supreme? Are you trying to overthrow Dormammu and do something? Like, what's your goal with this power? She didn't have none, and I'm like,
she had the one reference, remember, where she said your power rivals that of the Sorcerer Supreme. Now, is she talking about that dead white lady, or is she talking about Doctor Strange? I guess that's
she's probably just talking about the role in general, but Doctor Strange only been Sorcerer Supreme since 2016 in the MCU. In that timeline, I mean, he only been Sorcerer Supreme for 2 years, and then he died for 5 years. He only been Sorcerer Supreme for technically 2 years. So yeah, he been Sorcerer Supreme for 2 years.
And then later on during the episode, guys, she gets her powers. She has to close the hex. Basically, it's weird because that's another plot point of, wait, if there's a real Vision there, the real Vision came back as the White Vision and got the
that's the real Vision
and got the memories of the one in the head.
Vision's body.
Yeah, the Vision's body got the memories of the fake Vision that she was using for the show. Why isn't the White Vision still alive? I was like, I just don't know. I guess we'll have to explain that later on.
I mean, they didn't even explain how they got him operational because they just use. How did they bend magic to make White Vision? Like, this is the thing. Like, there needs to be a distinction between technology and magic. You need to be able to know how to operate magic to use magic. Like, what the heck? Wanda's energy was of magic, as the show is trying to tell us, and freaking Hayward and them just use freaking what technology to bend magic? What the fuck?
You're putting logic in this shit? Bro, this is the same fans.
No, I'm not. I just want a distinction between magic and technology. Like, when I go into Shazam, that's like, a magic-based. That's a magic-based movie. Like, it's no technology. It's no grappling guns. It's
in Dragon Ball Z.
Magic.
Remember, in Dragon Ball Z, they distinctly tell you that ki is not magic. Little things like that. Yeah,
it's an energy source.
Yeah. The last things about the episode.
See, as Agatha says, Wanda's is chaos magic. So she's dubbing Wanda's abilities as magic. So
basically, toward the end of the episode, Wanda puts Agatha in, or she makes her basically stay there in Westview as basically, so if she needs her again, she'll come back. Most people would probably assume eventually when Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness gets closer and closer and closer, they'll cast that specific lady to be in the movie. I would imagine that's where she's going to appear next. But you also have the end credit scene.
I don't think Wanda needs her because she got the book. She doesn't.
Hey, she kind of foreshadowed it. She said, you're going to need me again. So she probably knows something she didn't tell Wanda previously beforehand to have that as leverage so Wanda would have to go back and get her again, I mean, Wanda's a Scarlet Witch. She's far more powerful. As long as you got books, you can definitely learn more knowledge than what Agatha can teach her. So, she got that dark code thingy, so she's good. So what she don't need Agatha. So what is the first...
I mean, she got Doctor Strange, someone who's the actual hero. And this is the thing. I need to ask you, do you think Wanda's going to be a villain or a hero?
That's what I've been thinking about.
Anti-hero.
That's what I've been thinking about these past couple of days. So there's two different routes, I think. The first one is she becomes Doctor Strange's apprentice in his second movie.
Okay.
Or she is a villain during the movie at some point, but then becomes a good guy. Because remember, in Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness, that one black dude who was leading in to be a villain at the end of his first movie. What's his name? I forgot his name. Fucking, I was gonna say.
I know you're talking about.
Yeah. So it's either she's gonna be his apprentice, or she's gonna be
or Baron Mordo. That was his name.
Or she'll be a villain at the beginning of the movie, but not a villain. Just more like an understood character. I would imagine that they're not trying to make her a villain though, because by the end of the episode, if they wanted to make her a villain, they clearly would have did it.
Yeah, I think. This is what I think. I think Multiverse of Madness. She's gonna go to Strange, and while they're trying to test her abilities, she, freak accident, like Hulk and shit, freak accident. She probably gets too emotional, and they're trying to test her hex thingy again to do it on a smaller scale, or do it without having to make a big hex, where she can just conjure up things.
Yeah.
Like into actual things, real things, without having to make a big ass hex around a freaking building and stuff. Help teach her how to use her powers, but do it on a smaller scale that doesn't damage the reality of things.
He might even show her how to bring back Billy and Tommy and bring back Vision. Just because he's obviously much more experienced by this point in time. He's going to be a lot more powerful. It's hard to say what route a character will go. I would like if she is his apprentice. Like, that would make perfect sense, because they didn't even put her as a villain at the end of the show. She actually felt very bad for what she was doing. Oh, there was that scene. Where she got knocked out. Remember, there was that scene where she got knocked by Agatha and her ass was popping up for a little bit. I was like, damn, looking all good there.
I mean, one thing that would have, like, Wanda, I don't know what the fuck she want to be. I don't know if she want to be a hero or she going to be a villain. But if they're going to make Wanda a hero, I need her to be held accountable for what she did in WandaVision. Like, bro, she abducted a town of kids and adults, and she didn't apologize to none of the people. Like, we all know what would have, like, been a good scene at the end of that movie. I mean, the final episode, like, everyone in the town, like, when they was looking at her, Wanda, like, makes a stop in the middle, and she, like, publicly.
I don't think it would have mattered, honestly. At that moment in time.
No, I know. I'm talking about as like a hero thing.
Oh,
like,
yeah, you're right.
Answer, the show, because that's the thing I like about our heroes. When our heroes are able to accept their own faults and actually own up to what they did. As far as a little heroic thing. Like, for example, let's say Superman blows up, accidentally runs to a building, fighting a villain, and he hurts some people. Now, what I would like to see is a moment where Superman talks to the public and lets people know, like, yeah, I messed up. I apologize. I'm going to promise to make this right and fix it. And, as a hero thing, if they're still labeling Wanda a hero, would have been nice to show as a hero her owning up to her mistake and telling the people, like, yeah, I fucked up. I'm sorry, I took your kids. Not saying I'm not asking for the people to forgive them, because that would have been a real life. How you blend real life in our world in the comics and these movies. Some people will forgive her and some people won't. That's just how it is in real life. Some people will love you, some people will hate you. That's just what it is. But they didn't do none of that. Wanda just put on her hoodie and walked away. It's like, what the fuck? You wrong. You better go apologize to those people. At least, like, go talk and apologize. You fucking abducted their kids and shit. And she not even held accountable for the shit.
The other thing was
wait, one more thing. Hey. But when Wonder Woman supposedly rapes a guy, she has to be held accountable though.
Oh yeah. So, double standards. Yeah. I love them.
Wanda can abduct kids and it's all good. So. And
then not apologize when given. I'm not going down that road. This man always throwing shade in these episode reviews to people.
I'll joke, you guys. But I mean,
what I wanted to say was the scene, the first mid-credit scene where you have the scroll reveal to Monica and she says they're gonna need your help up there. I imagine that
was straight Captain Marvel 2 thing.
But that's what I wanted to bring up with these shows, was that how do you look at these shows moving forward? Because let's be honest here.
I'll be honest, bro. This show didn't even do enough to make for me to didn't do nothing. These 9 episodes still make me care about Wanda and Vision's relationship. Because at the end of the day, she lost Vision again. Well, she gained Vision, but then they don't show her trying to go look for that Vision. Like if they what would have been a more promising ending was if Vision, the fake Vision, tried to introduce her to White Vision. Like, even though I'm gone, I'm still here. Like, there's still a piece of me here. And White Vision and Wanda both go off and they are on their run essentially because, they are hot targets and they're trying to make amends and clear their names. And they're staying in that cabin and stuff. And you have Wanda trying to help White Vision gain his emotions and stuff and be more like the original Vision. But they didn't give me that. Vision just freaking leaves and stuff. I'm like, what the heck? And also, 9 episodes for them to give us a setup for Captain Marvel 2. It's like you should have focused on WandaVision.
It's basically a 9 episode.
I mean, yeah, they focus on WandaVision, but a lot of it, and even the sitcoms ruined it, bro. Because I'm like, this shit fake, bro. Like, if you was building a relationship where they're out of the not out of the hex, but actually not faking the funk and actually being
I think this episode was just a glorified way of you to get more emotionally connected to Wanda and to set up her becoming Scarlet Witch. I mean, you could have probably did that in Multiverse of Madness in a probably 2-hour movie, but I digress. But what I wanted to bring up was that how do you look at the show moving forward with a lot of other things Disney has planned? Because there's a reason why I asked, you and other people there, will you probably have WandaVision in your top 10 Disney Plus Marvel shows in the future? Because people have to know this. People have to know this. These shows are more or less so glorified commercials in long form for the movies, because the movies are going to make them pretty much a good amount of their money. I know Disney Plus will make them money, but it's not going to be as much as a movie like Black Widow, Shang-Chi, Eternals, Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, Tom Holland's third Spider-Man film, Fantastic Four. You guys know all the movies coming out. And then, the benefit of this show was that it came out during COVID. So when people make rankings later on, years now from YouTube, it's going to be like, oh, well, it came out during COVID. It entertained a lot of people. Factor this in, everybody who's going to obviously listen to this part of the video. Did you only like this show because of what it did for you in the short term? Or do you like the show because you genuinely like it? I want to really ask that. Do you genuinely like the show? I didn't hate the show. I thought it was an okay show for what it was. But let's be honest here. We're getting much better than this show coming up. And this show had the benefit of the doubt because of COVID. Now, when we have Marvel movies coming out maybe within a month after a show premieres, that's going to be a lot more different of a dynamic to really dance with, because you have a move. Let's just say let's say a year from now, we have Multiverse of Madness coming out, but that week before you got Moon Knight finishing. I'm going to look at these shows different. I'm going to look at that movie and the show differently based off the fact that, do I have to watch Moon Knight? This is just an example. Do I have to watch Moon Knight to watch Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness? Or do I just not watch that and I just watch the movie? That's the question you guys gotta ask yourself, is do I watch these glorified TV show commercial ads for these movies, or do you just simply sack them and watch the movie instead? Question you gotta ask yourself. Yeah. Because that's the thing though.
I mean, look, well, let me bring this up to go on that point. Let me ask you, in these 9 episodes, what was a new thing we learned?
She becomes Scarlet Witch.
What?
That's it. That's literally it. Oh, you get you have a few characters introduced, right? You have a few characters, few new faces, right? But even when I watched the show, I told you this episodes back when we did reviews of the show, I didn't know who the fuck that Asian dude was, and I didn't care when I saw him.
Yeah, Jimmy Woo and Darcy was not needed in this show.
That's my point.
They were just put here to ride off the cloud of popular characters.
That's my point. Is like, will you need to watch these shows in the future when you have their movies coexisting in the movie theaters at not the exact same time? Let's be honest. They're probably like maybe 2 weeks or a month away, like to pretty much give you a nice little gap there. We're only gonna get like 5 shows a year. So it's like 5 shows a year, 4 shows a year, 3 movies. They're gonna have their distance between them, but it's like, I think for Disney Plus Marvel shows moving forward, the only real way for people to really watch them as heavy as they did this, because let's be honest here, this was kind of heavily watched because it's COVID. Most movie theaters still aren't open yet. I think it'll only have to deal with name on the show, like Moon Knight, She-Hulk, Falcon, Winter Soldier, Secret Invasion. I think it'll have to solely be based off name value that will make me watch a show like that. Because if I could just... So, I could just watch Captain Marvel and Captain Marvel 2 when they come out, right? Or Captain Marvel 2 when it comes out. I could just watch Captain Marvel, right? Why do I need to watch Miss Marvel? What's the point of me watching that? I could just watch Captain Marvel, watch Captain Marvel 2.
Well, I do want to say this. And I need people to understand this, because me and MSK do reviews. And this is just for anybody in general. Mm-hmm. Stop telling us, but it's your choice to watch. You chose to watch it. I mean, you knew what you was getting into. I knew what I was getting into. But the reason we watch this shit is because it's part of the MCU. If this was a non-canon from the MCU, I wouldn't touch this shit. Because anything that's canon to the MCU, you're gonna have to watch, because it's like reading a comic issue. If you miss a bunch of stuff, you're gonna get lost in the story. Mm-hmm. And then they're gonna talk about stuff that happened prior that you didn't watch, and you're gonna be like, wait a minute, what happened? Because you need to watch the prior stuff that happened because it's connected to these movies and stuff. And I hate it when people tell us, you didn't have to stay up until 12 a.m. to watch the show. I mean, I'm giving the show a chance, bro. And this is nothing. I don't want to hear nobody saying that neither of us gave the show a chance. I stayed up until 12 fucking a.m.
I did
to watch this shit.
6-hour live stream watch parties. You know what's crazy? The last watch party that I did for episode 8, I didn't go to bed until 4 o'clock in the morning. And then I woke up late for work because I wanted to make sure that I gave this show an accurate chance. I stayed up and watched it. And to be fair, I'm going to be honest here with you guys right now. I'm going to watch all of them, obviously. It's just what I do.
Yeah, if it's connected to the MCU, I mean, we're going to watch it. Like, whether it's that, like, look, Captain Marvel. Yeah, I saw from the trailers that it was not going to look good, but it was connected to the MCU, and they put it right between Infinity War and Endgame. You obviously need to watch that if right before the film is even released. If Infinity War and Endgame came out, mm-hmm. which they did, and you put a movie like Captain Marvel in between, and people and after we watch the movie and we don't like the movie, and people tell us, well, you didn't have to watch the movie. I mean, it's
clearly connected to the grand. It's like clearly connected to the grander scheme of how things are.
Yeah, it's even though Captain Marvel you could skip. After watching Captain Marvel, you can skip that movie. You don't have to watch it at all. You don't have to.
No, you will have to watch it probably if you want to eventually get.
You didn't know.
Well, you might have to watch that movie specifically because it's coming out with an actual sequel. So if you want to get the idea of what she was like,
yeah.
That's something. But it's like,
as far as Infinity War and Endgame goes, when it was released, you didn't have to watch Captain Marvel.
Yeah,
because she didn't do nothing in Endgame.
It's just more along the lines of I enjoy watching it week to week to a certain amount. I do think episodes 1 through no one will ever convince me. Episodes 1 through 3 until the end of episode 3. The end of episode 3 is pretty solid. But before that, episodes 1 and 2 are garbage. I don't care what they set this. I don't care. They're trash.
Yeah,
I don't care. This show, I don't care what it set up. I have to judge it by what it gave me, and I thought it was terrible. What do you want me to say, people? Yeah. It's bad. It was just I don't care what it set up. If you set up good, I'll say it was good. If you set up with bad and I didn't like it, I'll say it's bad. It's how that works. I don't care what. Just because you set up doesn't mean you got a pass. What the hell? What the actual hell? It's retarded.
Yeah, just because it connects to the MCU, it don't mean it gets a pass.
The last thing I want to talk about was really important. I want to bring up.
One more thing is you brought up because it's a quick thing because you brought it up early in our reviews. This show shot itself in the foot with episode 4 by doing a recap episode so freaking early.
That's a recap episode.
To the point to where you don't have to watch episodes 1 through 3. That's how useless the show makes its first 3 episodes. How obsolete it makes its first 3 episodes. Because you can watch episode 4.
But dude, it's from the human's perspective. I don't give a fuck actually because it's still a recap episode.
Yeah, recaps at all.
I don't care if it's from a different perspective. It's still a recap episode. It's literally. That's what I told people. If you want to watch the show, don't watch episodes 1 through 3. Okay, watch the end of episode 3. That like little 2-minute thing they had.
No, not even because they showed in the recap episode of her going through the thing.
What I wanted to bring up, the last to end this off is, it's gonna make you guys put things into perspective. I've been thinking about it all day at work. I was over here just making some hamburgers at work, just getting some free Pokemon cards because I do work at a McDonald's, so I had a pretty solid day overall. Got a chance to get off early. I was thinking about this all day long because this was actually brought up to me in a League of Legends podcast that I watch, And this guy brought it up. He was like, why do fans go off of preconceived notions for every little thing? What I'm trying to explain, guys, is when you watch something, it has to be isolated within the context of itself. I get it. For MCU and DC stuff, it's a little bit different because it's all kind of connected. Star Wars is the same thing too. Yeah. But the logic and the concept still applies. When you watch something, you have to judge it from the confines of in it of its own self. The preconceived notions for future MCU things, what I'm trying to explain to you guys is, don't just automatically assume it's gonna be good just because it's from the MCU. Yes, the MCU has great credit, fantastic fan base, fantastic universe building. That's fair to say, right? But I think a lot of people went into the show with such big preconceived notions, they couldn't let their own, like, little biases of the MCU get out of it. Well, Wanda didn't do this because Kevin Feige said so. Who the fuck cares, actually? Who the actual fuck cares? Are you that delusional? Are some of you guys actually that retarded? Or you actually believe that? It's not. Understand this. It can be bad. Just because it's in the MCU and you don't think it could be in the MCU. Think about what I'm saying right now. You're basing stuff good off of what other things did. No. I like Civil War.
Hey, wait a minute. Do this. If this was a Marvel Netflix show, not an MCU show, people would be looking at it different. That MCU name is that MCU.
It's not even
name.
that.
It's not say the MCU bad.
But it's also like, did you guys let your biases go? Like, people need to literally let their biases go when they're watching something to understand the full grasp of it. Then you can tell if it, or not it's a bad show. I'm not saying it's a bad show. I'm just using this show as an example. Obviously, you know, I've seen worse shows than this. Have you guys seen some of those Walking Dead seasons? Fuck. I've seen worse shows, obviously. But the issue here is, when you're going in with preconceived notions, you're not looking at it from a fresh set of eyes. You're already going in with these X-Men multiverse, setting up House of M, setting up the mutant gene. Oh my god, that was going to happen in 9 episodes? All these great, big, grand things you guys want. Multiverse, X-Men, Quicksilver, setting up the future of the MCU. Bro. And
this is why
the fuck, like, the show, you guys basically shot yourselves in the foot before you even watched episode 1. You see my point there? You see how much your expectations overtook what? Let's be honest. Not a bad show, right? But your actual expectations shot itself in the foot based off what most of you actually want the show to be. It might actually be a really amazing show, but your preconceived notions and theories took it down a notch. It's like it was never going to reach those expectations anyway. Let's be honest here. And then later on, Marvel puts out an article, or it was a news source where it was like, oh, they're coming up with the Mutants movie. They're like, oh, well, that was supposed to... No, you fucking actual buffoon. This show was never going to be that.
What ticks me off is that people can have their theories about Mephisto, Nightmare, all this Mephisto, Nightmare, all this other shit. But when I bring up actual issues with how they was hyping it up, like Paul Bettany, for example, when he was talking about, oh, there's a cameo from an actor that I always wanted to work with.
And then the day before, what did he say? The day before, he said fans are going to be really disappointed. It's me, myself. Oh, what the fuck?
Like that shit, like what, doing that troll shit, and then people telling me, oh, but he was joking. So he was setting up expectations, and then fails to deliver because.
But I understand why you do that though. In his shoes, actors.
Nah, that was straight up misleading, and that was straight up misleading.
Well, to
like
be fair,
he was talking about.
Well, to be fair, remember,
cameo from an actor, a person I always wanted to work with.
As you're an actor, well, to be fair, as you're an actor, you hype up your show so more people watch it. He doesn't need to do that in his position. People are gonna watch WandaVision off name alone. They're gonna watch it. So you can't.
I know. You can hype it up, but
I know, but people can't use that as an excuse for him because off name alone, people are gonna watch the show. So you can't say, oh, he's just hyping up so more people watching. You can't use that. You cannot use that. It's illogical to use that. Because
it already got hype because off MCU. It already got rep off MCU.
People were saying to us, it's Mephisto. You gotta read it's Mephisto. It's Nightmare. You gotta read House of M. They're setting up X-Men. They're setting up mutants. They're gonna bring in X-Men characters. It's gonna rip into the multiverse. It's gonna set up all these grander MCU schemes. What are you, some deaf idiot? You must be a deaf idiot if you think that's gonna happen in 9 episodes. People said, oh, it could have happened because of Easter eggs. Easter eggs should be taken with a literal grain of salt.
Yeah. I don't say Easter eggs is. Have you seen a recent Tom and Jerry film? There's an Easter. I'll give you an example of Easter egg. In the recent Tom and Jerry film, when the movie starts, there's an Easter egg of Tom walking out of a subway station, and on a billboard you see a quote from the Joker movie, which is a WB property. That is an Easter egg. It's not. It's an Easter egg, just alluding to another property, just to put it in there for fun. It's just not even a tease. It's just. That's another example of an Easter egg. All right, BVS.
Or Man of Steel. Man of Steel. When that thing drops and it says Wayne Enterprises, that's it.
Easter egg.
There you go.
Even though Bruce Wayne is really there, that's an example of Easter eggs. Oh, that established that maybe Bruce Wayne is here, but it's an Easter egg.
Also, the last thing I wanted to bring up, I just had it in my head, was that when
video games got Easter eggs all the time that don't matter.
Yeah, Batman Arkham games, loads of them. Don't mean shit, honestly.
Like for example, I don't know. Let's say in one game you have a teddy bear that's special from another.
I just got it in my head. Okay, so for comic books people, and I'm just talking to you people who read comic books. I read comic books myself. Don't tell me I don't. I have loads of them in my house. I read them. Some of them are actually pretty bad nowadays, but neither here nor there, right? So let's say this was gonna be based off House of M, and you read House of M. People are gonna say, well, you know what? I read House of M, and it should be based on that. Okay, so it is, right? Take it for what it is, right? Let's say you read a comic book, right? The movie adapts it differently because it's just a different media. Comic books and normal books that have movie adaptations, right? They're different forms of media, right? Because people on Twitter, every single fucking time this episodes would end on Disney Plus, I know what's gonna happen in the show. I know what's gonna happen in the show. If you already read House of M and you know what's gonna happen, stop watching the show. You already know what's gonna happen. What's the point? What's the joy of actually watching a show? You know what's gonna happen. You know what's gonna happen, right? Okay, stop watching then. Good, stop watching. Yeah. But I want to see it in live action. You already read the story. You know what's gonna happen. You actually, that's an incorrect fallacy you actually have. That's actually not smart or just stupid. You read it. You know what's gonna happen. So why are you watching the show? Oh, I want to see it live action. Okay, whatever. You're actually stupid then. I can't help some people. Actually, that makes no sense whatsoever. People need to see it this way. Comic books and movies or TV shows sometimes, when they're based off certain books, are two different things. If they give you exactly what you read in those books, there's no excitement there. There's really no enjoyment. I get it, in some different shows and media it's different, but I guess the point still stands. If you already read House of M, why are we watching this show? It definitely massively disappointed you. If I read House of M and I watched the show, I would have stopped watching episode 2 probably. Where are all the Marvel characters that wanted to kill Scarlet? You see my point there? In House of M, she's already Scarlet Witch. There's no building up to it. So this wasn't based off any comic book. It wasn't based off any House of M story. It was just their own Marvel way of showing you Wanda becoming Scarlet Witch. So, hey, that's it. That's pretty much it. This was a pretty good review. Anything else you want to say before we head out of here? Oh, I think we pretty much covered most of the general topics of the show. That's all I wanted to bring up. I really think fans poured their heart and soul into this show so much with their theories that, let's be honest here, guys. I'm being completely honest. This show was never, ever going to meet the expectations that most fans set up for it. And this goes with any Marvel show moving forward. Take them with a grain of salt. They set up the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies that later on will make a ton of money. Think of them as glorified TV show ads. That's what they are. To basically sell you on the future of the MCU. Makes no sense to, pour all this many theories into something, man. I'm going in with Falcon and Winter Soldier with open eyes, and I make theories in the context within WandaVision in and of itself, episode to episode, but at the end of the day, that's just what it is. So, hopefully for the next show, which is going to be Falcon and Winter Soldier, not this week, but the next week, because the week after this week coming up, so the next week we have coming up right now, there's going to be nothing. Pretty much a breather. The week after, we have the Zack Snyder's Justice League, and you also have the Falcon and Winter Soldier premiere. So, when you're looking at this point of view, you're looking at it from, here's what I'll say to kind of, round this off. Don't put too much fan theories and expectations on these shows. They're just literally glorified ads to see the movies. That's all they are. That's really all they are. They might be great. The other shows might be actually insanely good. but your theories are gonna tear them down. That's all I'm gonna say, and I'm done. Anything else you want to say, man, before we close out of here?
I'm gonna give it a quick example. When I'm currently reviewing Attack on Titan. I have not read any of the manga. Not since the show been out since 2013. I'm guessing the manga probably been out long before that. The reason I haven't read it was because the show is pretty accurate to an extent to the manga, and I would initially be spoiling myself potentially. Mm-hmm. So the thing is, what I do is for a lot of things, I usually watch the shows and stuff before I even read the comics. Like, you know, when I watched Captive Iron Man 1, I really didn't know about Iron Man's like first comics and stuff. And I watched Iron Man 1, and I probably, if I did read Iron Man's OG comics, I probably would have ruined my expectation. It probably would have ruined how I look at the movie, because same thing for Infinity War. I always read the Infinity Gauntlet comic. I knew about it prior to Infinity War.
I didn't.
So my expectations of what the comic looked like and compared to the movie, I was like, this movie is shit compared to the comic. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like the comic is so much better. Like, just could have just adapted all of this shit. Mm-hmm. But see, with that, you know, people say, "Oh, you can't 100% adapt it." But then you guys are making theories and stuff
for a 9 episode.
And you know, and shit, you might as well. At this point, you might as well just adapt the comics. Just adapt the whole freaking comic for what it is and shit. You know, you ain't even gotta change up shit, because let these people make their theories so they can be right, because they don't even care. They just want to be right about it, and then they're gonna flip. And this is shit I hate. You flip flop freaking motherfucker. This is why when I make my theories about everything about these comic book stuff, my comic knowledge is limited. I've been more exposed to the animated versions of our favorite comic book superheroes and stuff. You know, I've read some comics. I'm more familiar with the animated versions because that's what I grew up on. The video game versions and stuff, all these different versions and stuff. And I make my theories based off of what the trailers give, what the show gives, what it can potentially give. Like, for example, when I made the theory, when we found out this was connected to Multiverse and Madness, which is about the multiverse, and I assumed that the multiverse is going to break. And then from WandaVision, I was like, maybe Wanda is the key to breaking the multiverse, and then Strange has to fix that. And that was my biggest expectation. None of that shit got answered. This show has so many answers within this show, and nobody tell us that Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness will answer this, because Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness for a fucking fact will not explain how Hayward fucking knows that Wanda can revive people. The show needs to answer that, not Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. MSK, let me ask, do you think Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness will give us an answer of how Hayward?
I think he'll be in the movie, but
no. All right, just any question in WandaVision we have in general, because all the questions and stuff we had in WandaVision, and just what people tell me, WandaVision was self-contained. And this is my thing about these cinematic universe stuff. One of my issues with universes in general. It's why, you know, one-offs are usually probably your safer bet. Mm-hmm. People need to pick and choose. If you're going to do a universe, your universe needs to connect. Because I'll be honest with you, the MCU does not 100% do it, and not even DC in their comics and movies 100% do it. Mm-hmm. A connected universe is a connected universe. And this is just the thing about it. If Wanda's doing shit like abducting a whole town of people, and she had relationships prior with people like the Avengers, Hawkeye, and stuff that were closer, especially Hawkeye, and you're telling me people like people like Sword is not contacting bigger heads like Nick Fury or Hawkeye and you know, because if this was a connected universe, then other people would show up to show how connected this universe is. Yeah, you can have standalone stuff, but your standalone stuff needs to make sense for it to be standalone. For example, y'all use Winter Soldier, for example. I'll be honest with you. Some people like Iron Man should have been in that movie. You literally have Captain America with Falcon and Black Widow, even though they dealt with the issue, stopping 3 helicarriers. You like, huh? Captain America, Nick Fury, Maria Hill, and Falcon are trying to stop 3 big ass helicarriers that can literally bloop 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 kill a bunch of people in seconds, like almost big event type shit. Not Infinity War level, but like some shit where you need a more
probably take care of that with multiple people,
useful people. You know, I'm just saying if I were to do a Connect universe, I'm gonna go there. You know, if shit's gonna connect, it's not gonna be, you know, Wanda does this big ass shit like abduct the whole town and fucking the Avengers hulking them don't even care. They're not gonna put her in check. Like, what the heck? One last thing, and then we can get this done. So Agatha sensed the hex, right? You probably know where I'm going. Why didn't Doctor Strange sense the hex? Isn't he the Sorcerer Supreme?
Yeah, please, nigga.
Isn't he the guy that's all knowing and shit? And was like, hey man,
Lord.
you know, hey.
You just brought it up for me.
Like,
remember that rabbit? People kept saying was somebody.
Wait, no, I think they said it was Mephisto. Said the rabbit was Mephisto.
All right, dude, it's time to wrap up. So we're gonna do a WandaVision season 1 review later on in today's stream. We'll be streaming at like 8 or 8:30 p.m. PST. Hopefully, maybe, depend. I most likely will. If I had to give the more I logically think about it, the grade of WandaVision season 1. Oof. Let me see. What would I give it? I think I'm gonna give the show. I probably would give WandaVision season 1. I probably would give it a C.
Well, being as though I'm glad this shit is done and I'll never watch this shit again, just like I'll never watch most MCU stuff that I do not like, I'm gonna give this shit a D. The only episode that's rewatchable for me is episode 9. I'm not rewatching this shit again.
Yep.
The Mandalorian has more stuff I'd rewatch in it than this shit.
That's pretty much it, guys. See you guys later. Like, comment, subscribe. Most of all, enjoy. Deuces. Oof. My God.